They thought their house was safe, but at night, strange knocks echoed through the walls. Objects moved on their own, and shadows appeared where no one stood. Their daughter whispered words she couldn't possibly know. Something unseen had entered their home, and it was not leaving. It was 1977, in a quiet suburban street of Enfield. The Hodgson family lived in what seemed like an ordinary, peaceful home. Peggy Hodgson, the mother, managed the household with care. Les Hodgson, the father, tried to keep things normal and calm, skeptical of anything unusual. Their 11-year-old daughter Janet was playful and curious, and the 10-year-old Margaret often stayed in her own world, unaware of what would unfold. Life appeared ordinary, until the nights came. It started with faint, unexplained sounds, a tap, tap, tap against the walls, a soft scraping on the wooden floor, whispers from the corners, just audible enough to make Janet shiver. Peggy dismissed it at first, telling herself the house was old and settling. Les tried to laugh it off, blaming Janet's imagination. But Janet knew something was wrong. She whispered one night, trembling, "There's someone here." Her parents smiled nervously, but a chill ran down Les's spine. Something unseen had entered their home, something that was not leaving. The Hodgsons had no idea that these were just the first signs of a terrifying presence, a force that would change their lives forever. The small noises were no longer small. Doors creaked open on their own. Drawers slid across the floor. Chairs toppled without warning. Every night, the Hodgsons felt the house breathing around them, as if it had a life of its own. Janet's behavior began to change. Sometimes she spoke in a voice too deep, too strange for an 11-year-old. At other times, her words were frighteningly precise, calling names no one in the house knew. Peggy tried to comfort her, whispering, "It's just a dream, Janet." But the fear in her daughter's eyes was undeniable. Neighbors started noticing too. Late at night, they heard loud knocks, strange thuds, and faint whispers echoing through the walls. Some swore they saw shadows flitting past windows when the house appeared empty. The Hodgsons could no longer deny that something unseen had taken hold of their home, and it was growing bolder with each passing night. By the end of the second week, the ordinary house had become a cage of tension and fear. The taps and whispers were just the beginning. Whatever haunted them was testing their courage, and it was only getting started. By now, the house no longer felt like a home. It felt alive. Shadows twisted in corners where no one stood. Chairs flew across rooms, drawers slammed shut, and objects were hurled without a hand to throw them. Each night, the presence grew more aggressive, as if testing the Hodgsons' fear. Janet was at the center of it all. Her voice sometimes shifted unnaturally deep, guttural, or echoing multiple tones at once. One night, she levitated slightly from her bed, her small body shaking as if gripped by an invisible force. Peggy and Les could only watch, frozen with terror, as reality shattered around them. The neighborhood had grown restless. Neighbors reported hearing blood-curdling screams, knocks on walls, and footsteps when no one was there. Some claimed to see flickering shadows moving across windows at night. What started as whispers and taps had now become undeniable evidence. Their house was haunted, and whatever it was, it had chosen Janet as its focus. Even skeptical Les could no longer dismiss it. He realized that logic and reason had no place here. The unseen entity was not just playing tricks, it was real, and it was escalating faster than they could comprehend. Terrified and desperate for answers, the Hodgsons finally called in a team of paranormal investigators. Equipped with EMF meters, thermal cameras, and audio recorders, the team entered the house with caution. The air inside felt heavier than ever, chilling their skin and tightening their chests with every step. They began filming Janet's room. At first, everything seemed normal until the devices started reacting. EMF meters spiked uncontrollably, capturing energy readings that made the investigators exchange uneasy glances. Then came the whispers, faint at first, barely audible, but growing louder with every passing second. Janet. A voice called, echoing around the room, though no one was there. The thermal camera revealed faint, humanoid heat signatures floating near her bed, disappearing and reappearing as if moving through the walls. Objects flew across the room in slow motion. A chair tipped, a book slid across the floor, and a small dresser shifted slightly. Janet herself shivered violently, as if an unseen force had gripped her. Even the seasoned investigators felt a chill that no equipment could measure. By the end of the night, there was no doubt. The Hodgson's home wasn't just haunted. It was a hub of paranormal activity centered around young Janet, and whatever was in that house was far from harmless. It was a night the Hodgsons would never forget. The air in the house felt thick, almost alive, as if it pulsed with a dark energy. Every corner seemed to shift and breathe in the shadows. The soft taps and whispers they had grown used to were replaced by louder knocks, thuds, and eerie, almost human groans. Janet's bed shook violently. She floated slightly above the mattress, her small body twisting as if held by invisible hands. Her voice shifted uncontrollably, alternating between her own high pitch and a deep, guttural tone that made even Peggy shiver in fear. Chairs toppled, drawers slammed, and objects flew across rooms. The walls seemed to vibrate with whispers, each one calling Janet's name, taunting, testing, and claiming her attention. Les tried to grab her, but the moment he touched her, a cold, inhuman force pushed him back, leaving him on the floor, gasping for breath. Outside, the neighbors could hear loud bangs, scratches on walls, and muffled screams. The house had become a battlefield between the unseen force and the terrified family. By the early hours of the morning, the activity finally calmed, but the damage had been done. Fear had settled deep into the Hodgsons' bones. Whatever haunted them had made its presence undeniable. It had tested their courage, their sanity, and it had left them knowing one chilling truth. This was no ordinary haunting. It was a relentless, intelligent force, and it had chosen their home, and Janet, for a reason. Weeks passed, and the Hodgsons knew they could no longer stay in the house. They packed what little they could carry and left Enfield behind, stepping into the cold night with heavy hearts. Janet slept more peacefully in their new home, the whispers and shadows no longer haunting her dreams. But the memory of that house lingered. Peggy often felt chills when recalling the strange sounds, and Les could not shake the feeling of unseen eyes watching, even miles away. The neighbors still whispered about the activity they had witnessed, each retelling more chilling than the last. Though the house stood quiet now, the Hodgsons understood one terrifying truth. Some presences never truly leave. They wait, patient and watchful, for the slightest opening. And deep down, Janet knew that what had chosen her once might still be out there, waiting for the right moment to return. The Hodgsons left Enfield behind, but the memory of that house and what lurked within it never truly left them. Shadows may seem gone, whispers may fade, but some forces are patient. They wait, watching, waiting for the next moment, the next life to touch. Was it all a nightmare? Or was something truly real hiding just out of sight? If you dare, watch carefully, because somewhere, in the darkness, someone or something might still be watching.